Hello guys, welcome back again to P for Politics. Yeah, it has been a long time before we made a video on our platform, but here we are. And today we are going to look at the MPs. What's their role? Are the MPs used as a political tool, or is it used as a way of ensuring that the people's consent is listened to the people? Remember, MP means member of parliament. They represent the constituency that they come from, and for you to become a member of parliament, the particular requirement is that you must at least be part of a political movement, mostly a party or so. But today there is some amendment in, more likely there's some amendment like you can be independent, you don't need to be in a party. So, but mostly people tend to associate themselves with parties. The reason as to why a party is a perfect platform for getting a member of parliament is because once you're in a party, there is the point of like being sponsored. There's a form of like there's something like you get some popularity. You've seen some areas in Kenya, if you're not a member of ODM, you are unlikely to be elected. Mostly you can witness this in maybe Nyanza region. You can see those who are not affiliated to ODM who are not elected. Similar to Mombasa. Also, you can also see at Mount Kenya, most of those who are elected were from the UDA. So people tend to associate themselves with parties because it gives them a platform, it finances them so that they can be members of parliament. But in return, there's nothing that comes free. There is a requirement for once you have won an election as a member of parliament in a particular party, you need to support that party. You need at the end of it all to contribute your earnings back to that particular party. So, and also remember, for as a democratic state, it requires that for one to be a Kenyan president, you have to have at least over 50% win election in the general election. That's 50 plus 1. Secondly, you need to have most members of parliament so that this member of parliament, they can push your agendas, they can ensure those things that you put on the manifestos can be accepted, because not everything that will bring as a new president that everybody will agree, because in a democratic state you have an opposition. We have seen like the housing levy, it has faced a lot of resistance, but it was part of manifesto for the Kenya Kwanza government. For that bill to have been passed, they had to have the majority numbers, that is above 2/3. So that's why as member of parliament you have to be associated with a member, to be associated with a party. With the amendment, they also choose that once you can be able to stand by yourself, you can be able to support yourself. They brought something like you can always stand in an independent position so that you can finance yourself. But today what we are going to look at are the parties manipulating or trying to put some dictatorship from diverting from representing the consent of the people. Are the parties the main hindrance? Are the parties the main barrier to representing the people? Because we have seen parties, for example, we have seen like it requires for maybe a particular party like ODM for them to actually put a successful maandamano, they require their member of parliament to be there. You have seen like there's a time when Jalango and the others were told to not, they were somehow almost rejected or gotten out of the party. And once you get out of the party by a party that sponsored you, that by a party that put you into politics, maybe to have that political position, it's required by law that you automatically cease to be a member of parliament. So the question is, are these parties the main hindrance of listening to the people, because you have seen in parliament, members of parliament are being bought. That members of parliament, they are actually pushing for the agendas that maybe that main coalition that maybe put them in government that they want. And we have seen maybe these things are not the things maybe people have been pushing for. That we have understood that when the finance bill was suspended, it was suspended on the grounds that there's some part it was unconstitutional. Why? Because it never had the consent of the people. So now that means that those members of parliament who are there, they are not representing the people, but they are representing the party's interests. So is it used as a political tool? Are these members of parliament used to just to put the interests of the parties in there? Because remember, for now, like we can see the ODM called its member of parliament, the members of parliament and its people to actually do what we call to come out for protests, which did happen, and at least they get the government to talk. Now we had the birth of the NADCO, which were aimed to try and maybe try to resolve the issues that the both parties had. But once the chairmanship came, now we saw in one way or the other it influenced the NADCO report. So the main issue like the cost of living were not addressed. Something like a finance bill has gone unopposed to be implemented. And they even promoted saying that the NADCO report was going to be implemented without any amendment. So is it that political parties are used as a means of maybe attaining the party's interests of those who are in charge? So that's the question that I have today, and I would like you to support it. Are this political party used? That's why you find that in a democratic state, remember the members of parliament have three laws. Number one is to represent their people. Number two is to make laws, do legislation. Number three is to do oversight, maybe for the implementation of the budget, maybe to ensure that maybe other things are not done the way they are not supposed to, so that they can ensure that the public fund is safe and sound. Thank you. So what's the solution for maybe if this member of parliament are actually not representing the people, if they are not assisting the people to be heard, what's their role? So remember the democratic state, according to the one who came with the three arms of government, it saw the possibility of people, maybe once they get power, they tend to be proud. They tend not to listen to what people say. That's why they came with the three arms of government. We had the parliament. Now the parliament had its own mandate to make laws, to represent the members of parliament, and to do oversight. And also they had the right to impeach the president. And secondly, we had the judiciary, for which we appreciate the judicial system of Kenya. We have seen it from the nullification of the election without fear of those who are in charge. We have seen to the abolishment of what we called the BBI. We have seen them to severally suspend the finance bill. So with them, with their role, we have seen them to have just protected the people's consent and to ensure everything is constitutional and it does not go against the rights of people. The other thing, we had the executive. Now the executive are there to try and talk. The executive, you are the president, are those old members of parliament who assist in ruling. So who will protect this? Maybe you have seen there has been a lot of conflict between the Kenyan government, mostly with the media, by trying to shed light on some injustices, like that one of bringing GMOs and doing some some purchases which were not safe for Kenyan consumption. We have seen them revealing most of the scandals that have swindled citizens a lot of money. We have seen them reveal a lot of things. Those who have seen those people, and that thing is the constitution. Remember, the constitution says that for something to be amended, there must be public participation. If there's no public participation, then it's likely to make that law unconstitutional. We have seen that with the finance bill. We have seen that with the BBI. So with that, I mean, we can see that is a solution if the members of parliament refuse to work. So thank you again. Share your views. Let's meet next time. Thank you again.